Remember that not all readings will resonate with every member of the collective. And today we have a reading about members of the collective who have been struggling with a new and great challenge in their life, requiring a great deal of transformation and change, releasing old habits, but at the same time learning from the experience of one's past and applying those lessons into the future so that one can grow. However, this reading might strongly pertain to somebody in the collective who is dealing with the birth of a new child, the birth of some kind of pregnancy, or the birth of a new project, and having to apply a certain level of discipline and dedication and patience. So the first oracle card of our reading pertains to NETZACH, the seventh Sephirot on the Kabbalistic tree of life, symbolizing victory. But when we discuss victory in the sense of NETZACH, it is applying to victory of one's goals and victory over one's emotions, practicing self-love. There is a great theme concerning your love life with this card, or a returning lover, the need for self-love, functioning from a place of love regardless of the circumstances. This card suggests victory over tasks, projects, endeavors, overcoming obstacles, having to commit to a long-term vision, following through on your goals, having victories over your fears, practicing fortitude and facing a big challenge or challenges and utilizing patience to overcome those challenges, executing fortitude. So from a neutral gender perspective, this reading is about overcoming the odds and being victorious. But what does this specifically have to do with for some of you in the collective? Well, firstly, the lovers and love have a great deal with this reading. As you can see, in association with the NETZACH and the angel, guardian angel Haniel. And we have not just lovers between partnerships, but lovers between romantic partners, family, people that you work with, having deep love for others, working with someone else to achieve your goals. And Haniel is a guardian angel that appears specifically when there's a pregnancy, there's children involved, or people have to seek a certain level of joy and happiness in their life. This is an angel that wards off negativity. So, and that brings luck and a whole slew of other things. So there's definitely a need for some type of sensual pleasure, sexual pleasure, romantic endeavors, and protection of some type of new project, protection of people involved in a situation. So this card reading has to do with multiple people, not just one. And what we have here as well is the Princess of Discs, because I asked a little bit more specifically about what was going on here. And the Princess of Discs, also associated with the Page of Pentacles, has to do with remaining very grounded in one's endeavors, committed, practical, and being sensible in one's endeavors. But with the Crowley Thoth Tarot deck, the Princess of Discs is very closely associated with pregnancy. If you look a little bit closer, you can actually see that this female depiction of the Pentacles has a little baby bump there. This is all about not just pregnancies, but also bringing new projects to life, new endeavors, and remaining committed to those projects. But taking the other cards into consideration, I'm getting the sense that whomever this reading has to do with is dealing with a new child on the way, the birth of someone new coming into the world. And the Ten of Wands has a great deal to do with feeling a heaviness of responsibility, feeling exhausted and feeling burned out. And then we get the Eon card. And in this card, in the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck, you see Horus depicted, the Egyptian god Horus depicted in the middle of the card. And I would get into the other symbolism associated in this card with Nuit, the goddess. As you can see, it looks like she's touching her lip. And then you see a winged figure, which has to do with Hadith. But I can't get into that. I don't have enough time with this card. But if you look closely, there is a Hebrew letter by the name of Shin. It's depicted here and here. And within the 3 yods of this Hebrew letter, you see babies. This card, the Eon card, is closely associated with the Judgment card in the Rider-Waite series. So what you see is the birth of new babies coming to life, but they're not ready yet. This card is about great transformation. Great transformation in the same sense that we saw with NETZACH at the beginning of the reading, having to face big challenges, having to practice fortitude in order to accomplish and successfully complete those challenges, being patient. But what we see here is the need and desire for love in order to face transformation. There is a huge theme of having to practice love and kindness and nurturing in a situation, because we have the Lover's card here closely associated with NETZACH and the guardian angel Hanyal, which means that we must, in combination with the cards, move from a place of love and kindness when we're facing our challenges, when we're facing major transformations, when we are getting rid of an old way of living and giving birth to something new. Because for some of you in the collective, you have seen the truth of a very difficult matter in your life. You have come to a big, drastic realization where something very painful has been revealed to you. And this involves other people. And as a result, you are being instructed not to handle the situation with hate. You are being instructed to handle the situation with love and patience, balance, bringing harmony to the situation regardless of what is going on. And this moves in the same direction with non-issues relating to partnerships, but those relating to business relations, friendships, acquaintances. You are being asked in the collective today to lead from a place within your heart, to transform situations with love and kindness, to love yourself and also show patience for situations that are out of your control, and show leadership in situations that are in your control. And when you take that leadership, you must lead from a position of kindness and love, not ego and hate, because many of you are facing some very painful realities. In addition to that, if this does have to do with a pregnancy or a big transformation, this might warrant some type of medical issue or physical pain of some kind that leads to a surgical procedure. I'm not within my scope of practice to discuss health matters, so I just touch on what the cards might be indicating very lightly. Always consult a professional for health advice and legal advice. So basically, on a very mundane level, this reading is suggested that you use love and diplomacy and kindness in order to connect with source, connect with spirit, and make decisions from a place of taking the high road. When making plans and committing yourself to a long-term vision, whether it be in business or family, you must be very careful to pay attention to all the details, to be diligent in your forward movement, because whatever you are facing is going to incur much responsibility, and it's going to become very exhausting. There is going to be some self-reflection required, cutting off people, adversaries, things and habits that no longer work for you.